Welcome. This channel is for those who think quietly and move forward anyway. Season 1, Episode 3, title, The First Echo. The retrieval team moved before dawn. No banners, no announcements, no witnesses invited. 2 carriers slid through the lower air lanes, engines tuned to silence rather than speed. They followed coordinates that did not appear on civilian maps. Inside the lead carrier, no one spoke. Not because of protocol, because the signal they were tracking felt like it might hear them. Elias Kane stood near the rear hatch, one hand resting lightly against the bulkhead. He wasn't watching the city fall away beneath them. He was monitoring the resonance. It pulsed ahead of them, steady now, human, but altered. A technician broke the silence, voice low. "Signal coherence is holding," she said. "No fragmentation, no collapse patterns." She hesitated. "But it's heavier than baseline." Elias nodded once. "That's expected." The carrier descended into the inner zone. The district below looked the same as it had for years. Broken towers, vegetation reclaiming concrete, static haze clinging to everything like dust that refused to settle. But the air felt different. Not hostile, attentive. They touched down in a wide transit plaza, its surface cracked into uneven plates. At the center of the plaza, someone stood alone. A young man, early 20s, clothes torn, stained with dried blood and ash. He stood upright, though his body trembled slightly, like steel still cooling after forging. Around him, the air bent subtly inward. Not a shield, a field. The retrieval team slowed instinctively. Weapons stayed lowered. No one had told them to do that. They just understood. Elias stepped forward, alone. The young man's eyes snapped to him immediately. Sharp, focused, not afraid, but not calm either. "You're real," the young man said. His voice was hoarse, "but not like the others." Elias stopped a few meters away. "That's mutual," he replied. The young man swallowed. "I didn't mean to do this," he said. "I was just trying to survive." Elias studied him. Not his posture, not the warped space, his breathing, still uneven, still human. "You didn't cause the change," Elias said. "You aligned with it." The young man frowned. "What does that mean?" "It means the world pushed," Elias replied. "And you didn't break." A silence settled between them. The air pressure eased slightly, as if relieved. The young man looked down at his hands. They were steady now. "When it happened," he said quietly, "I felt everything at once. The noise, the fear, the systems watching me like I was a problem to solve." He looked up. "And then it got quiet." Elias inclined his head. "That's the threshold." Behind them, a device chimed. Zone readings normalized further. The plaza stopped decaying. Concrete fractures halted mid-spread, frozen like a paused collapse. One of the team members whispered, barely audible, "He's stabilizing the environment." The young man heard it. His eyes widened. "I don't want to be a weapon," he said quickly. Elias answered without delay. "Then don't be." The simplicity of it landed harder than reassurance. Elias stepped closer. The field around the young man reacted, tightening for a fraction of a second, then relaxing, accepting. "What's your name?" Elias asked. The young man hesitated. "Asher," he said. "Asher Vale." Elias repeated it once, committing it to reality. "Asher." He gestured toward the carrier. "We're leaving," he said. "You can come with us." Asher searched his face. "And if I say no?" Elias didn't threaten. He didn't persuade. "Then you'll still change the world," he said. "You'll just do it without guidance." Asher looked around at the ruined city, at the stillness he hadn't meant to create, at the waiting soldiers who weren't aiming their guns at him. He exhaled. "I'll come," he said. The moment the decision settled, the field collapsed inward. Not violently, cleanly. The air returned to normal. The plaza looked abandoned again, but the weight remained. On the ascent, Asher sat strapped in, staring at his hands. "They feel the same," he murmured. "They are," Elias said. "Then why does everything else feel different?" Elias looked forward. "Because this part mattered. Because the world has started to answer you," he said. "And it won't stop." Asher swallowed. "How many more like me?" Elias didn't turn. "More than yesterday," he said. "Fewer than tomorrow." The carrier broke through the cloud layer. Aurora ring shifted overhead, making room without being asked. Asher watched it, eyes reflecting the light. "So what happens now?" Elias answered as the city unfolded beneath them. "Now," he said, "you learn how not to disappear into your own power." Asher nodded slowly. Somewhere deep in the system, a new classification finalized. Not a threat, not an anomaly, a category. Resonant human. Stable. Elias allowed himself a single thought before the next phase began. The first echo had answered. The rest would not stay silent for long.